book. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for joining Word of the Day Wednesdays. I am Nicole D. Miller, author of Stories for the Urban Soul, a compilation of short stories, novellas, poetry, all jam-packed in, heartwarming stories of black characters dealing with various life issues, from heartbreak to social injustices, to parenting, to college life, and definitely relatable with a spiritual lens, faith-based, and encouraging. So, you can learn more at NicoleDMiller.com. Now, as many of you know, I've been doing Word of the Day Wednesdays since last year, where I basically piggyback off of my latest blog post, and this week I blogged at NicoleDMiller.com. The name of the blog is Giants and Geniuses. I was super inspired by Kanye's documentary, filmed by his good friend Cootie, named Genius. So if you have not checked it out, if you're late to the party, I highly recommend it. Go ahead and, open up that old Netflix account and binge it. I definitely binged it in one sitting because I don't have a lot of TV time in this season, and I definitely didn't want to miss out. So I sat there and watched it all. I think it's three episodes, probably all an hour and a half a piece. But what I got from it, which was a lot, and was that I share about in the blog, is just being an entrepreneur, having this calling, having this belief that there's something inside of you that hasn't yet manifested, and maybe sometimes you're the only one who sees it. And with Kanye, I think the documentary clearly demonstrated that he knew there was a gold mine within him, whether or not other people believed in him. Now, what I think is really cool is that he did have a team of supporters initially. His mother was one of them. His good friend Cootie was another. And they definitely believed in him. They definitely went hard for him. But he faced some pushback, and they talk about it in the documentary. From even his own record label, he had to invest a lot of his own capital. And just being an entrepreneur, I feel like it resonated with me because I've had to invest my own capital. But sometimes when you don't see that return on your investment right away or in the way that you want it to be, you can get discouraged. And it can be a long time coming before you see what you feel like your just due is, right? And so it was just very affirming to know that, wow, before people become this household name, they're like us, right? They're just this everyday person with this dream, with these gifts, but they believe in themselves so much that they push through the barriers, they push through the no's, and there is a lot of rejection on that path of entrepreneurship when you're a trailblazer, when you're creating a new path, when you're creating new doors to open. And for me, being a believer, you would think it would be easier because you're like, well, God's shown up in X, Y, and Z areas of my life. Surely he will show up in this one. But when you've been walking with God for a long enough time, it don't always go the way you think it'll go. Life is not always what it seems. So you're really walking by faith. There really is this hope, this dream, this desire that you're thinking one day will come to pass. So if you are a trailblazer, if you're a dream chaser, then check out that documentary. Another key thing that I took away from it was just this idea of humility. Kanye's mom was really big on that. One of the quotes that she gave Kanye was, "A giant looks in the mirror and doesn't see anything different, but everyone else is seeing that he's a giant." And her message to him in that regard was, don't see yourself as large. Let everyone else see yourself as large. And it does remind me of a scripture where it just says, let other people praise you. Let other men praise you. So definitely a reminder to stay humble. I share my thoughts in the blog on maybe my view of why Kanye may have lost that, or that he did in fact lose that. And I think one of the things I would say is that lack of support system from the people that he would have called family, and just his roots. I feel like he kind of lost his roots, and on top of the whole mental health struggles, got away from himself, or maybe got away with who, he was called to be in those seasons. But, for me, it's like, well, life ain't over. Things can turn around. But it is a good reminder, like, keep those roots close. The people who know you the best, keep them close. And I say in the blog, how can you remember what you look like when the people around you aren't reflecting you? These are your reflectors, your reflections. So it was good stuff, jam-packed. I share in the blog too. I love documentaries. I love mostly music. Anything with fashion, hip-hop culture, you know, urban culture, music. It's just right up my alley. Of course, faith as well. So women empowerment, all that stuff. But documentaries are such a great way to learn and to be encouraged. So if you're an entrepreneur, stay encouraged. Again, my name is Nicole D. Miller, author of Stories for the Urban Soul. You can learn more at NicoleDMiller.com. You can follow me on Instagram at HCOHB. I'm actually going to be hosting a women's discussion on feminism March 27th at 6 p.m. Definitely follow my Facebook page to chime in on that. It's going to be streamed live on there, facebook.com/HCOHB. And if you want, you can also follow me on Twitter, NicoleDMiller.com or Nicole D. Miller. All right, thanks, guys. I hope you will make the next Word of the Day Wednesdays.